guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, which, believe it or not, brings us up to 200 episodes. Hard to believe this was just something I started for crack back in the days of lockdown. But yeah, a lot of people seem to be enjoying what we're doing, enjoying being kept up to date with what's coming into the store, being kept up to date with new releases and news about the store and so forth. So I just thought for this week's show I'd combine all the individual elements and just put it into one show. So take you through what's new into the store on one side, take you through the new releases this week in terms of variants, in terms of single issues, that kind of thing. You'll see a little bit of a look into some of my own personal collection as well as backdrop. So so I'll just go through everything. This is everything going out for Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. So in terms of graphic novels, there's a good selection here of trade paperbacks, some hardcovers, some big massive special editions. It's a combination of stuff that's new out this week and also just restocking some of the things back into the store. So we'll kick things off with Kill Them All. This is from Kyle Starks, who we interviewed a few weeks back on the podcast. Very interesting guy, very talkative, hence why it's been split into two parts. But Kill Them All is his love letter to 80s and 90s action cinema, and was recently picked up for a movie adaptation from the director of Extraction. Speaking of the podcast, this week we had the pleasure of talking to Jim Zub. Jim Zub has been around for a long time, doing some great work, doing stuff at Marvel, doing stuff independent-wise. At the moment, he's the current sort of head shepherd, so to speak, of the Conan brand, now that it's moved to Titan Comics. He did do some of the Conan at Marvel as well, so he's in a very good position, but thoroughly interesting guy. Great conversation we had with him, and that should be out in the podcast network within the next week or two, just putting some final editing touches to that. But this week sees the release of the first batch of Conan from Titan in the trade paperback. So we've got the three different covers in store. You've got Mike Mignola and Stanley Archer and Lau. Those are both what are called direct market exclusives. So those going to be found in comic stores. And then you have the normal cover from Dan Panison as well. But that basically includes the free comic book day issue as well as the first 4 issues of the current title. Next up we have Spawn Shadows. So this is the main Spawn title coming out through Image Comics. Todd McFarlane, Carlos Barberi on art, and this includes issues 316 to 323 of Spawn. Next up, the Batman Adventures Continue. We're up as far now as season 3. I believe this might be the last season of the Adventures Continue, but this includes all 8 issues, and again, just introduces some new villains into the animated universe that hadn't been there before. Always a big week when there's a new trade paperback collection of Something Is Killing the Children, without a doubt Boom's biggest title. We're up now as far as volume 7. This covers issues 31 to 35. A Stone Cold Classic is starting to be released in this new format as well, which is the Batman and Robin New 52 run from Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. But not only is this definitive in a way where it has the New 52 stuff for the first 14 issues, it also has some of the issues from Batman and Robin 20 to 22, which was the original Grant Morrison run pre-New 52. Back in stock is The Last Ronin, so TMNT hardcover, collecting the entire mini-series there. We did get the director's cuts in, and the director's cuts also has the full colour story, but then it has extra material, so we've got a couple of those. But if you just want the story, then that's the edition to go for. Next up is Strontium Dog. We got these hardcovers back in stock last week, Volume 1, Volume 2. Now we're as far as Volume 3. John Wagner, Alan Grant, Carlos Escara. Definitely one for the movie geek and me this week, which is the Alfred Hitchcock storyboards. This is going to show some of the process and the storyboarding for some of Hitchcock's most famous films. Things like Psycho, 39 Steps, Vertigo, Spellbound, The Birds, and more. Suffice to say, I have a copy of that for myself, and I'm really looking forward to tucking into it. A Black Label book back in stock this week is Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons. This was a 3-issue hardcover, different artists for each issue, and it was exploring an alternative take on the history of the Amazons. One of the most beautiful books you will ever read. Tons of great stuff in that. Back in stock this week, I managed to get the whole DC versus Vampires range. I think I showed it off last week. Volume 2 sold quickly, so of course we had to get that back in stock. So that is James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg on that. Peacemaker Tries Hard, again we got it in last week. It sold out last week, it's back in stock this week. Kyle Starks again we chatted to him a little bit about it in the podcast. Steve Pugh on art. If you're a fan of the show, absolutely unmissable. Nightwing hardcover back in stock as well, The Battle for Bloodhaven's Heart. This is issues 92 to 96 of DC's best title at the moment. Sorry, Batman. Although not far behind that, I have to admit, is Ramby's Detective Comics. We're on to the second hardcover for Ram's collection, which is Gotham and Nocturne Act 1. This collects issues 1066 to 1070 and also the Detective Comics Annual as well. We got Night Terrors in last week, the main series in hardcover. Well, this week sees the release of Night Terrors Dark Nightmares. So this is all the Bat Family related 2-part mini-series, all collected into one edition. So in here you've got Batman, you've got Catwoman, Detective Comics, Nightwing and Robin, all the issues there. Back in stock this week as well, Saga Volume 10, been on back order for a little while, but very pleased to have it back in store. Issues 55 to 60 right there. Again, coming off of back order and again great to have back in stock is the John Constantine Hellblazer run from Cy Spurrier and Aaron Campbell. So this was 12 issues in total, spread across the 2 books. Absolutely brilliant Hellblazer storytelling. It was then unceremoniously cancelled, but they've now brought it back with John Constantine Hellblazer Dead in America, which has just started, 1 issue deep. But if you want to read their original run, that's the 2 trades that cover it completely. We have the Spider-Woman run from 2020, or they kicked off in 2020 anyway. This comprises issues 1 to 21. Some great creators working on this one as well, and a pretty definitive edition. And then a couple of Marvel floppy trades to finish off with. We have X-Men Days of Future Past Doomsday. This was a 4-issue miniseries, Return to the Future, and a tale that reveals the events leading up to the timeless classic. We have Captain Marvel, Dark Tempest. Again, a 5-issue miniseries, and the Senti on this. Paolo Villanelli on art. On a side note, I did watch the Marvels recently. Thought it was a lot of fun. Definitely choppy, definitely heavily edited. I think there was definitely sort of 25 minutes missing there. But Miss Marvel unsurprisingly stole the show. And then we finish off with Red Goblin Volume 2. So this completes the Red Goblin mini-series that Alex Paknadel was writing. You've got Jan Bazulda on art as well. So again, we Volume 1 on the shelves, and then that one is Volume 2. That comprises the whole 10 issues. So we'll move away from the trades, the hardcovers, the paperbacks and all the rest, and on to the single issues this week. And there's a lot of great stuff this week. So we'll kick things off with variant covers. So a few cool ones in this week. First of all, we've got Yasmin Putri on Batman 143. So this is the second part of Joker Year 1. And Yasmin Putri doing the variant cover there. As well as that, we've got this rather excellent Stevan Subic 1 to 50 retailer incentive variant, which is quite frankly horrifying. I have no doubt that this will probably go quickly because you have a lot of people who like the Joker in the store, and that is definitely one of the best recent covers. A couple of foils coming your way this week as well. We have the ROM Space Knight #1 facsimile edition back in stock, including the foil variants. So we have that. A new series kicking off this week is Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And we've got the Luciano Vecchio foil cover for that. As well as the foil cover for Scarlet Witch Quicksilver, we have the Scotty Young variant cover, so the Baby Marvel type style, which always proves popular. And then back by popular demand, because they sold it in record time last week, the Thundercats gold foil variant logo cover as well. Moving away from there and on to the single issues out this week. So first of all, we have Superman Action Comics. We're up to 1062. This is part of the Superman Superstars initiative, where it's going to be a rotating group of creators. So Jason Aaron's writing at the moment, John Timms is on art. We do have 1061, which is the kickoff to that story as well in stock. I've mentioned it there, but Batman 143, so Chip Zdarsky, Giuseppe Camuncoli, Andrea Sorrentino, continuing on with both the sort of an alternate origin take on the Joker, but also a great future set story. You know, it's like a dual narrative, and the future set story is genuinely horrifying. Next up, sticking with Batman, we have Batman and Robin #6. So Joshua Williamson continuing on his father and son drama. We have Blue Beetle #6 this week, which I believe finishes off the mini-series of Blue Beetle. Next up is Green Lantern. Jeremy Adams continuing to work on that. We have some great stuff here. Amanake Nahulapan on art, and this is issue 8. Outsiders reaches issue 4 this week, so this is Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, continuing on with their DC Outsiders title. One that's sure to prove popular, and it deserves to be because it's awesome. I read the first issue this morning, is Red Hood the Hill. So Sean Martinborough writing, Sanford Green on art. It's a beautiful looking book first and foremost, but really cool exploration of Jason's character as well. And then a new series starting this week through DC is Sinister Sons, the son of General Zod and the son of Sinestro. They are Sinister Sons. Written by Peter J. Tomasi, who of course did Super Sons, which is Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne. Great stuff there, so that's bound to be good. This week sees the release of Amazing Spider-Man number 43, so Gang War continues. I believe this is the penultimate issue of Gang War, running through Amazing Spider-Man. We have issue 2 of Beware of the Planet of the Apes. Mark Guggenheim continuing to write the new Planet of the Apes title. Blade has made it as far as 8 issues, always good to see. Brian Hill on writing, Elena Casagrande on art. It's been really, really cool so far. We've got Fall of the House of X. So continuing on with what looks to be the wrapping up or the a new take on the X-Men universe, shall we say, a reinvention of the X-Men universe. You'll get there eventually. So the sort of Fall of Krakoa, so Fall of the House of X on issue 2. Tying into Gang War this week is Miles Morales Spider-Man, so issue 16. Cody Ziegler continuing on that. Federico Vincentini on art. A new series kicking off this week for you 90s fans is a mini-series on Night Thrasher, which there's been a few late pre-orders for. I don't think people believe this was real until it was coming out. So that is Night Thrasher. I mentioned Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, so we have the traditional cover there, which we obviously have a foil version of. We have Spider-Gwen Smash this week, issue 3. So continuing there, Melissa Flores writing Spider-Gwen. Next up is Star Wars Darth Vader, issue 43. Greg Pak continuing to write Darth Vader stuff. I'll be curious to see when we're going to get the inevitable sort of reinterpretation or reboot for Star Wars, because a lot of the miniseries have come to an end recently, and they've set all these stories between Empire and Jedi. And I kind of get the feeling the next ones will be set between Jedi and Force Awakens, just to continue on a narrative, but also bring it back to like a number 1. Next up is Dan Slott, Mark Bagley's Superior Spider-Man. I just read this as well. Really, really good. Really enjoying that. Obviously, I read the omnibus recently of Superior Spider-Man. This is a great follow-up so far. Next up is Thunderbolts, as far as issue 3 again. Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing. Brilliant book so far. Not a lot of people on it. A little bit of a well-kept secret at Marvel for whatever reason. On to the indie stuff. So first of all, we have Blue Book 1947. So Blue Book had already come out before, from James Tynion IV and Michael Avan Oemi. They were dealing with the details of the first ever alien encounter. So this seems to be a brand new one, set in 1947, brand new number 1. So another conspiracy theory type of story about it. Next up is The Cabinet. This is a brand new number 1 through Image Comics. Ordered a few of these in to see what they're like. We have a one-shot Creepshow, Joe Hill's Wolverton Station. So I don't know what sells this the best, Creepshow or Joe Hill. Either way, that's going to be great. A new miniseries kicks off from Joe Casey and Simon Gain. This is Dutch, which is a brand new number 1. As I said, there was an issue 0 not too long ago. I think that was just bringing it back up to speed. But the next generation of heroes is back. Next up, The Hunger in the Dusk, where as far as issue 6 of this has been really good. I've been reading this, Joella Wilson, Chris Wildgoose. Great fantasy book so far. We have next up The Infernals. Ram Parrott writing a new series, which seems to basically equate mob mentality with supernatural. So I'm going to tuck into that myself. We have Spawn Scorch this week, so as far as issue 26 for the Spawn team book. Undoubtedly one of the biggest issues this week is Transformers number 5. Dan Warren Johnson continuing to do the Lord's work there. Yes, I've already read it. Yes, it is awesome. So that's Transformers. We have Vampirella number 666. So a bit of a celebration issue for the cult icon, Christopher Priest, on writing duties there. We have The Witcher, Wild Animals. So continuing on, this is the last issue of The Witcher mini-series. And then we finish off with 2 more. We first of all have Zoya and the Belly of the Beast. We have Michael Dialmas's All Ages mini-series is on issue 4. Of course, the co-creator and artist on Wind, James Tynion IV. And we finish off, we did a massive restock for the One Hand. This, I cannot recommend this enough. Absolutely brilliant. Ram V, Lawrence Campbell, think Blade Runner meets Seven meets Zodiac. Thoroughly brilliant adult storytelling, lots of details in the background for you to pore over as well. It's going to be part of a 2-part, sort of a 2-title series, if you will. You have the One Hand, and then there's going to be a title coming out next week called The Six Fingers. So you've got one full story, but if you read them both, you've got a third story reveals itself. Really can't recommend this highly enough. This is up there with the best number 1s of the year for me thus far. The One Hand number 1. So that is going to do it for our 200th episode. Again, thank you for all the support following the channel, all the kind words regarding it, and I hope you guys, proves useful to you and continues to do so. I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully in the store soon. So until then, take it easy.